Well, good morning, Wellspring.
Good morning.
Hello to you out in Zoom land. Oh, I heard them say hello. Great. Well, this is Sunday, July 27th, and my name is Vicki Avery. I'm one of the board members, and I am very happy to be here and be the MC for this three-ring circus. Before we get started in our regular routine, we have special guests with us. It's a great honor to have these folks who put their lives on the line every time they're given a call out for search and rescue. And so it's my great honor to be able to welcome Ned and Vic from Search and Rescue, Mesilla Valley Search and Rescue. Would you guys like to come up and chat?
Good morning. Don't necessarily know what to chat about other than it was a real pleasure to drive in here this morning and see smiles on faces and to be accepted as you congregants here obviously are in a display of your support to us financially. We cannot say enough about our appreciation of that. We cherish that relationship that we have with our community. I'll allow Vic to talk just a minute about our history and how we formed, what we're about, this, that, and the other. But I want to say and express with gratitude to each of you that your donation to help our team goes farther than you can imagine. And we are a volunteer organization. We do not in any way expect anything, but we're so glad when we receive support, especially in a financial way, because as you can imagine by looking at the piece of equipment that's out in your driveway this morning, and we could show you a lot of other toys, we use these resources to try and serve our community in a better way so that others may live, which is our motto. Many times when we answer the call, and they come at the weirdest times, day or night, many times what we are going to, unfortunately, is a recovery. But we take that very seriously also. And the closure that that can bring to families, to friends, to loved ones is something that we feel so honored to be able to be a part of. Sometimes these things hit close to home for us. Many times we've gone out to answer a call of somebody who we've known maybe all of our lives. And maybe that outcome isn't exactly what we had expected. However, we go with the support of our community, and we go with the support of one another always. We put great emphasis on training together so that we are prepared when we go into the field. We know each other, we know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we try to present, when we arrive at a mission, a united front, one that is ready to serve in any way that we can. I'll let you listen to Vic tell a little bit about our team.
Yeah, like Ned said, we are very appreciative of the support. Without the support of the community, we would not honestly be able to do a lot of the things that we do. So the short of the long is that our team's been around since 1994. Ned and I have actually been on the team since 1997, which was a very long time ago. And you know, so Our team is large. We actually fall under the Department of Public Safety. As Ned said, we're all volunteers, but when we deploy on a mission, we actually deploy under the Department of Public Safety, which is the state police. And so that's who deploys us into the field when we go on missions. Our team is large. We have a ground team. We have a UTV team. We have a K9 team, which I didn't bring Milo, but I would next time. And then we have one of the newer parts of our team is the drone team, our UAV team. We had, back when we got the first drone in the state. We had the first find in the state using a drone during search and rescue. And our newest drone, which is the DJI Matrice 30T, is a much larger unit with thermal capability, so we can search at night and see. And so one of the things that your donation went to was that was a $17,000 drone that we now deploy. And then, like the UTV that's sitting out here, we have 2 of those that belong to the team, and those also have thermal capability, so we're actually able to see at night through the iPads we carry in there. So we definitely are trying to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to technology and how we do things. But Ned's our ground team leader, so it's still a lot of good old-fashioned ground pounding and hiking up the side of the mountain also. And so right now our roster is at about 47 people that are on the team, ready that are pack checked, is what we call it, and ready to deploy in the field. And so when the mission comes, usually, because it is all volunteer, 15 to 18 is about what our deployment usually is to go into the field. And so that's really the gist of what we do. Usually, if there's a couple questions, we'd be happy to take a question. If anybody has a question about what we do, we'd be happy to answer it.
So do you get your funding basically from the state?
None. We get no funding from the state.
No funding?
All 100% of our funding, we have someone on our team that's a grant writer, and so they get us grants, and then through community support.
Like you good folks.
Yeah. Churches, schools, foundations, they all, not schools, but car dealerships are pretty big. We've got a couple car dealers that are big supporters of ours. So yeah.
What's your area? What area do you?
State. So we can cover the whole state, but we do as a team, because we are an NGO, we're a non-government, we're a 501c3. We've actually, I heard somebody say Katrina. We did deploy to Katrina. We've deployed to Harvey, and we deployed to one of the other hurricanes. We are in talks about sending a K9 team to Texas with the floods they had over there. So
with you being a state organization, do you have different parts of your group that stay in different parts? Or
No,
are you
we're all here.
stationed here?
We're all here. Yeah, so we travel. So if we get a mission, like we had a call the other night up, you guys went up near past Tularosa. White Oaks. So many of our missions, like when we're going to the Gila and stuff, it's a 5-hour drive for us to get there before we even start searching. Yeah. We try to stay as local as possible, but sometimes they need the help.
Sometimes it is confusing. I'll add on to what Vic said. We are simply under the jurisdiction of the state police. That's all it is. They issue what we call a mission number, and then our field coordinator applies for the resources that she or he may need on the particular mission, puts that call out to various teams. I'm not sure of the count of search and rescue teams in the state. Are you?
It's in the 40s.
So there are teams other than Mesilla Valley Search and Rescue. However, we're one of the best. And
We're also the largest, so most teams are 5 to 10 people, in a neighbor, in a small town. So we are the largest team in the state. And most teams are specialized. You may have them just as a ground team, just as a K9 team, just as a high angle team, where our team is large enough that we have all those assets under one roof. Yeah.
Do you also work with the U.S. and Mexican border?
We do not. No, we don't, so so, I won't say that. So outside of normal search and rescue, our canine team often works with like the FBI or the US Marshals or law enforcement where we'll do recovery from criminal cases and stuff like that. But specifically working on the border, no, we do not do that. Yeah, there's a risk level that where we kind of stop at. And so that would be it.
Well, we thank you for your service.
Thank you so much.
So
We
I,
thank you for your support.
so I brought you one of our team challenge coins, and it's a little bit, got all our little resources on the back. So I'd like to leave that for you all. And, I'll leave that for you, and then you all can keep it and remember us. You bet.
Thank you, guys.
Ned, Vic, God bless you and be safe.
Thank you so much, and the same to y'all. Thank you so much for your selfless support. We appreciate that.
Stay safe.
This is quite a coin. We'll have it after the service so you can take a look at it, okay? Now, those are some angels without wings.
And your vehicle was really cool to get inside.
I was hoping they'd stick around and give us rides after the service, but you know, whatever. Well, that's a great way to start the morning off. Now we'll get into our usual routine of some opportunities. Early Birds meets Sunday mornings at 9:30 via Zoom. The link is in the weekly email or it is on the website. We just started this new book and we are having some amazing conversations. So please, you don't even need to have the book because we read. So if you'd like to join us, it's an awesome time together. Our speaker today is Dr. Edward. Upcoming speakers for, can you believe it's August already? August 3rd, next week, is Reverend Kamatara from right here, local, Las Cruces. The next week on the 10th is Reverend Sandy. She comes to us from TRC. On the 17th, Dr. Edward will speak again. On the 24th, Donna Stryker. And on the 31st, Reverend Randy will be here. And our Thursday evening group continues to meet at 7 o'clock in the social hall or on Zoom. And you can get the coordinates from either Cleona or from Edward. Full moon for August is August 9th. It is the sturgeon moon. I want to have some fish now. Yeah, and if you'd like to attend, please contact Reverend Juan Robles. It's at his home and get the information, the address, etc. We have an exciting outing scheduled for August. It is at the Brannigan Cultural Center on August 23rd at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The exhibit that we're going to really focus on is the history of the Stallman pecan farms. Gives a lot of the history of our local area here. And we'll have dinner at Chachi's afterwards. It's on Main Street, downtown, next to the Instacopy. Okay. And as always, our prayer team remains ready to serve and to support you. You may submit a request via our webpage, or we do have hard copies in the back. You can fill one out and please give it to Edward. Our prayer team meets virtually on Tuesday afternoons at 4:15 to pray with you. And you may consider sitting in your quiet space during that time. We know that we are one in spirit, and the energy of prayer knows no limit. And now time for invocation. We gather now. Let the vibration resonate through you as we invoke Mother, Father, God, Great Spirit, the all that is in, through, and around each one of us as we gather to celebrate and support each other on each one's individual spiritual journey and the spiritual journey of our collected congregation here at Wellspring. We know that all is in divine order. We give great thanks for this day, for the blessings bestowed upon us. And it's with great gratitude that we say together, and so it is. And now, if you're able, please stand for the Song of Joy. Our birthday girl from yesterday, Judy, will play Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Thank you, Miss Judy. Thank you, everybody. Y'all sounded so purty. And now we'll say together our vision, mission, and affirmation. Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission: to support individual spiritual growth, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation: with gratitude, I honor the freedom and power of spirit within me. I release any limitations and rise into my full expression of truth and love. The divine presence will guide fully, joyfully, and purposefully. Thank you all. I'm glad you stayed on script. And now it's time for our special music with Miss Judy. Thank you, Judy. That was lovely.
It's called River Song. Maybe they'll say that before it.
I'm doing today's reading from our Science of Mind magazine. It's always a great inspiration, daily affirmations and spiritual words for you. You can get your copy over at the bookstore. So has anybody ever come up to you and say, so what is this new thought thing anyhow? Can you explain it to me? Well, often I will give them a copy of this because in the beginning of it, there's a section here called What We Believe. So Ernest Holmes says about religious science, we believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in, through, and all creation, but it is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. We believe in eternity, the immortality and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us, and we experience it to the degree that we become conscious of it. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be a complete freedom from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through our intuitive and spiritual nature, and that anyone may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. We believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. We believe in the healing of the sick and control of conditions through the power of mind. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. And we believe in our own soul, our own spirit, and our own destiny, for we understand that the life of all is God. And so it is. And now it's with great pleasure I get to introduce Dr. Edward. Thank you, dear. You're welcome, sweetie.
So if you recall, last Sunday, Vicki talked about something. Do you remember what that was? We have a variety of ways of relating to that. Change your thinking, change your life, right? And that's one of the cornerstone concepts of New Thought or Science of Mind or religious science, right? So I love the reading you did today because it's a reminder of some of the very basic beliefs that we have, and everything that we do is operated based on those. So Holmes said, and this is out of, remember this book? Vicki had it last week too. I was really inspired by her talk, and so there's where I went. Holmes says, the ability to control my experiences and have them result in happiness, prosperity, and success lies in my own mind and my use of it. Exactly. Change your thinking, change your life. And I always say, if you don't like your life, change your thinking, because sort of the obverse works as well. So there's a number of ways that we can use to control our experiences, as Holmes writes, or affect the outcomes of what's going on for us. And I want to talk about today another one of the basics. It's a way of controlling our experiences. And this is what we often talk about, but might not always remember to do. It's called the affirmative mind treatment or affirmative prayer. So we all grew up with some concept of prayer. And I'm not going to really spend a lot of time talking about the differences between the prayer that we might have learned as children. Some of us may not have learned it the same as others. But in any case, affirmative prayer is not a prayer of supplication. That's the most basic difference. As Holmes writes, that affirmative prayer is a power prayer, and other folks call it a feeling-based prayer. And we'll talk a little bit about that feeling as well. But first of all, why do we even want to pray? Well, you kind of come back to the second half of change your thinking, change your life. Usually it's because there's something or some condition or someone in our life that we're not quite pleased with. We're not happy with how it's going. Or maybe there's just someone we care about who's experiencing some difficulties. And so we might do a treatment for them. So in order to even get started on this prayer, we have to reframe our whining about this condition that we really don't like to recasting it in a positive light. You know what you don't like because you're in what you don't like. So what is it that might be similar or related that you would like about your situation? So that's really the first basis. And a lot of times that sounds like an affirmation, which is a little different than affirmative prayer, but actually as part of affirmative prayer, there is an affirmation section in a way. So we want to find that way of reframing what we're complaining about into something that's constructive and can eliminate the problem that we're trying to get rid of. So I'm going to talk about the basic concepts that go into affirmative prayer without necessarily doing the affirmative prayer mnemonic immediately. So anyway, as some of the we believes that Vicki talked about, the first one is that all there is God. Now, there are a number of ways we intellectually could get around to that, all there is God. And actually, Holmes says it's mind, all there is mind, but it's okay. If you think about the Big Bang, or you think about the creation story, it all started in the creation story with God. And in the Big Bang, it all started with this massive concentration of everything that was in the universe in one spot. And according to the Big Bang, of course, it began to expand, either explosively or some other way, but it began to expand. And so if you follow that train of thinking, everything, the chairs, the carpet, the microphones, me, you, dogs and cats, plants, came out of that initial Big Bang. Now, scientists have come up with a variety of evolutionary processes by which it came from this initial concentration of matter to become enlightened beings and so on and so forth. But there was nothing but that one focused concentration of matter in the beginning. Now, if we go to the Bible's creation story, in the beginning there was God. And then God took one day to do this and one day to do that and another day to do that. And finally, he created human. And he or she, God, then rested on the seventh day. So no matter how you cut it, if it came from the Big Bang, the cells in our bodies are from the initial bang, if you will. And if it came through the creation story, what were the raw materials that God had to work with? It was God stuff, right? I mean, in the beginning, there was only God. So the point that I'm trying to lead us to, which all of you kind of know, is that we are godlings. And there's that one popular rock song from probably the 70s, we are stardust, if you want to go. But we're all part of that oneness. And there are folks who take that oneness discussion and that say that because at one point we were connected, we were part of this, that we still have this connectivity with one another. So we're still part of the oneness. And as the reading says, being in individualizations of that oneness does not detract from the oneness. Even Einstein, we're all familiar with his famous equation, E equals mc squared. Energy is related to mass. Okay. So mass comes from energy and vice versa. So if we operate in the energy realm, we impact the mass realm, the mass or matter. And there's a whole lot of work done and expounded upon in Holmes and a number of places talking about how we impact the matter realm based on our dealing with energy or our dealing with our thoughts and our mind. And not to leave out the fact that as we are this piece and a part of God, we also possess the godlike qualities. Again, basic ideas. And we have the right and the ability to develop and use those powers and abilities. And I'll just quote Holmes, which I sort of paraphrased already. He says, "Since we are created of that which God is, we are made of and possess godlike qualities, and we have the right and the ability to develop and use them." I like this next sentence. "In fact, it is necessary for us to do this if we are to fully express the life, capital L, within us." Now, I submit that we even have a role model. Jesus the Christ came to earth to show us that same power. And many religions have said, Jesus was the Son of God, true, not detracting from that, but that he was the only one who could use these powers. And what we teach in New Thought is that that is not true. But anyway, this was a demonstration by someone who looks a lot like us, appeared in human form, but used those powers on, call it a daily basis. So because we are godlings and we have those powers, we can manifest what we believe we can manifest. As Vicki said last week, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Yeah. So you may think you're going to manifest a new Rolls Royce right in the middle of the room here, but chances are most of us can't believe that that would happen, and so we probably won't manifest that. But there are other things that it helps if we have some faith in it, of course. So using a word, we can realize our desires by stating or demanding or commanding the universe to manifest them. Just in the same way, again, using Jesus, when he was in the boat and the seas, well, it was a lake, but the Sea of Galilee was rough. He's asleep, and the apostles are like, "Oh, wake up, Master, wake up. We're going to capsize." And he stood up and said, "Settle down, guys, I'm trying to sleep here." Well, maybe he didn't use quite those words, but he knew, and he commanded using his belief in the word. And then, of course, the famous ones about commanding the dead to rise as well. So there's no question that Jesus used these same powers that we would have attributed to God. And it's only through religion that we ended up thinking that he was the only person who could do that. So, using that same power, the purpose or the intent of the prayer is realized or manifested or experienced. Another part of the equation is gratitude. You remember Meister Eckhart says if there was only one prayer you prayed, it would be the prayer of, or should be the prayer of gratitude. So, and why is this so important then? I mean, Eckhart says it is. We are affirming to the infinite source that we accept what is being given and we want more of it. We're acknowledging that what's being provided. Keep bringing it on. I'll take more. I'll take more. Now, Spirit doesn't know the difference between large and small. So, start small. The breath you take, the chair you're sitting on, be grateful for any and all of those. And I think this goes back to the parable of the talents from the Bible. Those who didn't use their talents basically had them taken away, but those who did use the talents that had been provided by the master had bounty created. I had a friend who said, if you want more time, spend the time you have more wisely. You could put it this way, prove to the universe that you're worthy of more time. Yeah. Prove to yourself that you know how to use your time. Because it's really not the universe giving it to you. It's all of this inside out work that we do. And there's another thing that we ought to be grateful for, and we kind of touched on this in Early Birds today. We can be grateful that we know how this works. There are so many people who the whole idea of change your thinking, change your life just is totally lost on them. And there are a lot who do understand it. But I'm grateful that I understand how this philosophy works. It's really how the law works, right? And then, of course, there are some who are very afraid of the idea of being a godling. I mean, that's virtual heresy in many cases. And so fitting on into this now is this faith in how the law works, or that it works at all. It's no different than going to the wall and turning the light switch on, expecting the lights to turn on. You don't give it a second thought unless the power's out. But you're going to go over there and do that. If the power's out, it's a different story. The law has to respond according to our faith. We don't have to worry about it. So if we operate from faith, we can then let go or release, knowing that the work is being done as we commanded it. Or as some say, let go and let God. So I've talked about the 5 parts of the affirmative prayer. So let's summarize it and we'll tie it all together. So we start out, and this is not always written in Science of Mind textbook. But why are we doing this treatment? Right? I mean, you kind of need to know that. So here's a mnemonic for remembering the steps. Are you ready to receive? Are, right? We recognize that God is. You is called unification. You are one with God, or I am one with God. Are you? The next R is what we call the realization part, where we speak our reality into the good. Then we have thanksgiving, this grateful acceptance, and lastly, we have this release. We let go and we let God. Now, I mentioned a little earlier that this is also a feeling-based prayer. And Geneva once said, it isn't an intellectual exercise, it's a feeling. The more feeling we put into this, the more effective it is. Helps to get our hearts connected with our heads. So, as you go through the process, some cases you may hear a practitioner speaking the process and say, why are they taking so long on the second step? Well, the second step is we are part of one with God. It could be any step, but that is sometimes because what they are doing is building that belief into themselves. You keep repeating it until you believe it at the depth, or you feel it, maybe I should, or my favorite word, believe it. Yeah. So some people, this is a total sidebar, but yet not crazy at all. Some people say that we're living in a big simulation. If you think about it, if we're living in a big simulation, we're like living in a big computer program. And someone has given us the keys on how to write the programs and how to run the programs. Right? So, affirmative prayer is like writing a program, pressing go, and knowing that the simulation is going to provide the result of the program. So anyway, I just thought that was crazy, but it's not crazy. So if you want to change your life, you must change your thinking, as Vicki said. And affirmative prayer is one of the tools that we use. So I challenge you this week to write an affirmative prayer for yourself. Probably every one of us has something we wouldn't mind a little improvement on. And if you want to, share it with a prayer partner or a good friend. Say, hey, this is what I've come up with. Do you have any constructive criticism? And if you're having trouble writing one, you can always look in chapter 19 of the Science of Mind textbook for direction. So it is. Yeah. Yes. So now we're going to do what we call an affirmative prayer. So basically, sometimes I get it right. But basically, you know, we step into this place, this very room where we know the presence of God is. We recognize that. It just, we feel it here. So we just take that time to step into that presence, that oneness. We feel that within ourselves. We are deserving godlings. And so we know this energy is this feeling, this energy, this knowingness is healing. So in particular, we say this prayer for those friends and family members, those we know about who are suffering from whatever condition or in whatever condition. It doesn't really matter. Because we know the truth in their life. We know that God is operating in each of them as well. that the oneness and the truth is operating in their life. The highest good is unfolding for them. Many times we know not what that highest good is, but we have this faith and this confidence that we live in a loving universe. We live in a supporting universe. And so this unfolding is always an evolutionary process, no matter what it is. We also take a moment to know that the power of this prayer goes with every one of those members of Mesilla Valley Rescue as they go out on their missions. Many times, as he said today, searching for friends or family, perhaps even. So we know that they walk in that same oneness that we're so familiar with. So they are so blessed for that as well. So we give thanks again that we know how this works. We have the key to the kingdom. We know where the go button is on the program. We know how to write the program. We know that when we hit go or send, the law operates no matter how large or small, bringing forth the realization of this prayer. So from that gratitude, we can just let it go because we know it's already done. We know it's done. And so it is. So now, Judy, we have some more music, and maybe you'll explain what it is. Thank you.
This is a fast song. I mean, not fast in tempo, but fast in time. Okay? It's called Donegal Bay. I don't know, must have been the rain, because I had River Song first, and this is another water thing, so who knows. And so it has a little Celtic feel to it.
Thank you, Judy. Wellspring has so many talented and creative people. And just the fact that you're here, thank you. Thank you, one and all. So now it's time for our offering, and Sharon will be passing the basket. We acknowledge and receive our virtual and in-person gifts. We give great thanks for this offering that's already been given and those that we will be receiving, because we know that the giving and the receiving is both part of the one flow. We affirm that we are also part of that flow. We bless these gifts and know that they are multiplied throughout our community. And so it is. And there's a number of folks who have helped contribute to today's festivities. I want to acknowledge again Ned and Vic for being here and for the work that they do with search and rescue. And we have Cleona back as our techie, Edwin as our camera person. Sharon, thank you for passing the basket. Edward, thank you for your wonderful talk today. And Miss Judy, thank you for your music. And thank you all for being here. And chocolate chip cookies over there. I was just informed. So yay, we give great thanks for chocolate chip cookies. Much gratitude for chocolate. So thank you for joining us out in Zoom land. We will enjoy chocolate chip cookies for you. And if you'd like to stick around after the service in Zoom to visit, otherwise let's all go over to the social hall and break cookies together. So if you would, please, let's stand if you're able and say our benediction together and then our peace song. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world, and so it is.